Yo, what's good, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to another review recap of The Chi. This is season 6, episode 2, entitled Mo Douda, Mo Problems. And that was a perfect title for this episode. If this is your first time coming to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning family member, then you already know what it is and what it always will be. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. If not, just sit back, relax, and we're going to get right into this thing. Now, the more I watch The Chi, and I've been with The Chi from the beginning, the more I realize how many moving elements there are to this show. There are so many characters, and to do a thorough, in-depth review or recap would literally take like an hour. But I like to, get up on it and get off on it, hit it, come up off that thing, because it's just so many things going on at one given time. Somebody asked me last week about why the review was so short, and I'm like, baby, because The Chi is so much. I can't do an hour review, but I will always do my best when it comes to providing the information, giving my thoughts, and giving a recap of what actually happened within the episode. So first thing first, Emmett. Emmett is the first person on this week's docket. Emmett has gotten himself so deep with Douda, and it appears that he doesn't even recognize it. I believe every scene that Emmett was in this particular episode, Douda's name flowed from his mouth every single scene. Douda's gonna hook me up with his realtor. He told Darnell, I'm about to go meet up with Douda, when Darnell wanted to go to the house with him. Emmett tells Keisha Douda's going to give us the rest of the money when he talks about getting the loan for the house. It was a lot. And I'm like, sir, you don't realize how much you're talking about this man and how Douda has truly impeded on Emmett's life. And Emmett is just taking the ride with no hesitation and with no caution. The crazy thing is Emmett is fully aware of what Douda is capable of, yet he continues to dig a deeper hole for himself. I know that we're only 2 episodes in, but I will be so incredibly happy when I can see the return of Keisha and Emmett truly getting back to a place of peace, because there is still a hint of static between them. And I can't say that I blame her. And I know that last week's episode, there was a lot of talk about Emmett purchasing the car for Tiffany and Keisha have a problem with it. And I think the reality of the whole thing is, I don't think Keisha had an issue with Emmett purchasing Tiffany a car. I think the underlying issue is Keisha is not happy that Emmett is working with Douda. And I believe everything is stemming from that. And because there's not really much she can do about that situation, she just finds other ways to convey her irritation or her frustration with Emmett. So they discussed Emmett walking out of the house from the previous night, and he told her that he went for a walk. And Keisha knew he was lying because she saw Emmett on Nuck's Insta story. And so Emmett tried to flip the script, and he was like, why you still even following that dude? Which, in my opinion, was a legitimate question. But I'm like, come on, Emmett. You already in the doghouse. I'm going to need you not to lie. You lie about a little bit, you'll lie about a lot. You lie about the small stuff, you'll lie about the big stuff. So I'm going to need you to be on the up and up. So Keisha brought up the fact that she wants a bigger place. And so Emmett was like, oh, like, you serious about that? And she was like, yeah, I feel like we're on top of each other. And Emmett's whole thing was, well, I only feel like that on the weekends when I have all my kids. I'm like, dude, you got mad kids. Emmett, you got... Keisha has brought one to the situation. But I'm like, my brother, you got mad kids. And Keisha brought up the fact that it's also the house that Emmett shared and made for Tiffany. And she just wants them to have their own. And I could relate to that. You know what I'm saying? Not only was Tiffany your girlfriend, she was your wife. This is the home that you guys shared with your child and with your other children. And I just want something that just speaks for us. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. I don't think it's a far-fetched idea that she wants a new place and also a bigger place to accommodate all the children that Emmett has. Now, Keisha's only thing was she didn't want Emmett to make a huge decision without her. Just to go ahead and finish their storyline, Emmett finds a house that Keisha loves, and, you know, they decide to place an offer. But Keisha knows that Douda is giving them a loan, and she wants Emmett as well as her name on the mortgage. And, he was like he wouldn't have it any other way. And she seemed extremely happy. And I was just like, I don't even think I would want Douda to give me a loan for this house, because Douda is just so grimy. I wouldn't put it past him, like if something were to happen, that he wouldn't kick them out the house. Like, I just don't put anything past my toxic crush. I just don't. So then we see, well, I'm not going in order, just to let y'all know. I'm not going in any particular order. But we get to Maisha and Gemma. And just to be honest, I smell trouble on the horizon for these young ladies and their potential partnership or lack thereof. Now, while they were out shopping, they were approached by a local rapper named Sasha something. I'm sorry, sis, if you're a real rapper. I don't know. But it's Sasha something. And she walked up to Maisha and she was telling her that she wanted her to open for her. I think one of her opening artists or opening acts got arrested or something like that. So after the performance, Gemma hands Maisha her money, and $200 were missing, which Gemma stated was her cut. Maisha wasn't feeling that, not in the least damn bit. So she was like, well, I was under the impression that you only get a cut if you get the job for me. And I said, okay. And so Gemma was like, well, yeah, technically. I said, nah, ain't no damn technically. Y'all need a contract. If you doing business with your friends, I don't care how long you known them. I don't care how cool you are. Contracts are contracts. It keeps everything legal. It keeps everything into perspective. We don't have to worry about, what's going to happen if this. No, everything is in the contract. You signed it. That's what it is. So I understand why Maisha had an issue with Gemma just taking money out without discussing it with her. But on the other hand, Gemma did operate as a manager. She made sure that everything Maisha needed, everything Maisha wanted, her desires, her must-haves were all in that green room. So she managed the hell out of that deal. So I would say she did deserve a cut. However, if it is not contractual, then on the other hand, she didn't deserve a cut. But I'm like, don't just take your money out without you and I having a conversation. So I don't know how well this situation is going to go between Maisha and Gemma. So I'm going to just stay in this little pot right now. So once the performance was done, before we even got to this, who's waiting for Maisha in her green room? Kevin. And I'm like, what your ass doing here? And she was like, so what are you doing here? And he was like, where else would I be? I said, wait a minute. I need to really understand what's going on with Maisha and Kevin, because they acting as if they are each other's, one true love. I don't know what's going, I don't really know what to make of this. Because at first I said, I'm here for it. But then I don't know, because she told him not to tell Papa. And I'm not really down with the secrecies. I'm not down with doing stuff behind someone's back when you know they are going to be emotionally affected by your decision. So I'm not really feeling this act of secrecy between Maisha and Kevin. And so it appeared that Maisha was somewhat taken aback when she was like, you really trying to get back with me, huh? And he was like, yeah, I missed you. And I was like, since when, Kevin? Since when? What what happened? What caused this new revelation of you missing Maisha and wanting Maisha to be your girl? I'm not understanding this. I really need clarity. I need them to make this clear for me. They were about to kiss when Gemma walked in. And I said, So Gemma sat down. She spoke to Kevin, and that was it. But Gemma definitely picked up on the interesting vibes that was happening between Maisha and Kevin. It was a certain look that Gemma gave. Sis didn't say nothing, but she definitely knows something up. I said, oh, hell. This about to be some mess. Oh, this about to be some mess, because there was so many people who... Now, I like Gemma. I know a lot of people don't like Gemma and Jake for what they did to Kevin back in the day, but they kids. And also, I have grace for them, because I did something similar, trifling in this situation. I was a kid. I was the same age. I was 15 years old. We made mistakes. We learn. We grow up. But I have no issue with Jake and Gemma. However, this thing with Maisha, because Maisha definitely called Gemma out and said her piece about the whole situation. And now, sis, you're doing the same thing. So I'm gonna see how much grace Gemma extends when all this shit blow up, because it's gonna blow up. So we get a surprise, and Jamal pops up on the scene, and I was thoroughly yet pleasantly happy to see Vic Mensa grace the screen again. That man is so fine to me. I don't know if it's just me, but he's fine to me. And there's something about his voice. I said, oh my God, it does something. Okay, we gonna move right along. But he pops up on Victor because he wants to be reunited with his sister, Lene. And Victor is somewhat hesitant, which I do understand Victor's hesitancy, because the last time he saw Jamal shot and murdered his girlfriend at the time, brother. And he skipped town. He did do some jail time, but there was some tampering with the evidence, so he was able to get released. And on one hand, like I said, I do understand Victor's hesitancy to reveal where Lene is and to allow Jamal back into her life, into her space. But I'm like, Victor, please don't turn into one of those guys who get a title, a little bit of power and authority, and you forget that 2 seconds ago you were Trig and you come from a checker background as well. So I was like, let's not do that. He kind of gave me that vibe a little bit, but he quickly straightened it up, because I was like, Victor, I don't want to look at you sideways, because I really adore you. I don't want to look at you sideways, bro. And I think that when Jamal stated how, you know how it is when you have to be more of a father figure to your younger sibling than a brother. And that seemed to be the overall theme in this episode, because you have Jamal, you have Lene, you have Victor, and you have Jake. And then later on, we're going to get into it later, you have Q, who is deceased, and Alicia, which is Rob's mom. So it was this thing with the older brothers playing the father role, having to be the more of a father than a brother to their younger sibling. So, you know, Victor telling him that he just needs some time to think about it. So he takes Jamal to the center, and he, you know, where Tracy is, and they kind of, you know, make acquaintances or whatever, or introductions. And there was instant fireworks. I said, oh, Jamal has his eye on Tracy. He knows what he wants, and I think he gonna get it. There was a lot of sexual tension there, all already built up. I said, oh, this is a sexual encounter waiting to happen. I just believe it's going to happen. But speaking of Tracy, I was so proud of my good sis, because I don't give Tracy a lot of props, because sometimes, damn it, she just don't deserve it. But Tracy gets major props from me, because Tracy was at home. It was late in the midnight hour. She was drinking wine, and I know them damn hormones was raging. And who's calling on the main line? No, it was not Jesus. It was Douda. I said, Tracy, I was like, Tracy, be strong, sis. Don't break. Don't fold. There are many of us, men and women alike, who, when it's late and you just need to go to bed, close them eyes, say a prayer, and call it a night. Them hormones start raging, and the person who you know you need to leave the hell alone, the last person you should be going over their house and who you should be inviting to yours, call you or send you a text message, and you want to respond so bad, but you know they not good for you. I was proud of Tracy, because I was like, baby, I don't know if I would have been that strong, because it's just certain things I don't play with. Just block them, so you don't even know they calling you. They don't have, let them have no way to get in touch with you at all. But baby girl, she held on strong, and I was proud of her. I said, now Tracy, just continue to do that time after time. It'll get better, sis. It'll be hard, but it'll get better, baby, because Douda is the worst. I was so here for the reunion between Lene and Jamal. It was such a cute moment. He was so happy to see her, and she was so happy to see him. And he was like, you know, he knows that she's putting in college applications, and she's going to be the first person in their family to actually go to college. So he's just really happy to be back in her life. And then he asked her, does she have a boyfriend? And her response was kinda. And he was like, what that mean? And she was like, you know what it mean? He was like, no, I don't. He was like, I know you better not be giving your body to no, you know, to anyone or whatever. And she, I'm about to be 18. I don't need you to big brother me. I said, baby, I done been there. I've been there before sex became a thing. You know, you have your older guy cousins and your uncles and stuff like that try to talk to you and try to give you like the lowdown on these dudes. And you like, yeah, I hear you, but I don't hear you. Because at the end of the day, I'm still a young lady and I still want what I want. And the fact that sex is an option or sex is a desire, I hear you, but I still want to go out there and, you know, make my own mistakes. And, you know, that's how you become who you ultimately are going to become, is by having your own experiences to pull from and know what not to do the next time. And I really do like the character of Lene, and that's why I don't want her with Bakari. And Jamal says something about, you know, dealing with street dudes, because he asked if her boyfriend was a street dude and she told him not like you. And he was like, you know, just be careful, because there's nothing good that comes from loving a street dude, nothing but heartache. Which she already has experienced that with him, so she understands. But having love for your brother and having a romantic / intimate love with someone who is a love interest, those are very different feelings, very different, you know what I'm saying, emotions. And I want Bakari to leave her the hell alone. I just do. But, and I have a tug of war with Bakari, but I'll get into that when I get on him. But it was a really cute moment between Lene and her brother. And I'm going to go to my boy Rashad. Baby, I feel so bad for Rashad. It is cold as hell. Rashad, and it cracked me up too. It was cold as hell, but Rashad is outside, baby. He posting up his throwback jerseys, his old electronics, because he is trying to make some money. And Deja was like, baby, I could give you the money. I can help you out. And he doesn't want the help, and I understand. He wants to do it on his own. He wants to have his own little, I don't know what, I think he's trying to do like an antique store or something like that. So he's selling his clothes. And I'm just like, you know, I got to respect the hustle and I got to respect the grind. But I'm like, baby, my heart goes out to Rashad, because you could tell his heart is in the right place and he wants to genuinely do the right thing. He's just not having opportunities to open up for him. And so he's just trying to do the best that he can. So this part cracked me the hell up. So this dude comes and he's trying to buy a two-way. He asked Rashad how much the two-way is. Rashad says $100. I was like, what? A two-way, my dude? And so he was like, you know, but for you, I let it go for a cool 50. That dude was like, man, I give you $20. He was like, man, 20. He was like, man, who want a two-way? And Rashad was like, oh, yeah, I ain't think about that. And so the dude put the two-way back in the box. He was like, man, never mind. I said, first of all, why the hell do you have a two-way still? Okay, it doesn't work. But I want to know, what was this dude trying to buy this two-way for? Even if it was $20 or you were offering to give $20, why are you buying this? I don't know. That scene cracked me the hell up. I said, this dude is trying to sell a two-way, a legit two-way for $200. I mean, for $100. Crazy. Then there's a scene with Bakari and Rashad. And, you know, Bakari offers to purchase Rashad's meal at Smokey's. And so basically, Bakari was telling him, like, you know, it's work out there, you know, if you want it. And Rashad was like, I've been down that road, dude. Like, I got locked up. I ain't trying to go down that way. And I found it interesting because when Bakari was going through, Rashad was a positive voice in his life, trying to steer him in the right direction. And now seemingly that things have turned, Bakari is offering him an opportunity, but it's the wrong opportunity. And I said, I just feel like Rashad is going to get to a place where he feels like he's becoming so desolate that he has to do that. He has to go back down a path that he has been freed from. And I really don't want to see that happen to him, but I got a strong feeling that he's going to go back down that path of illegalities and doing things that could possibly put him back into prison or worse. And I really do not want to see that for him. So Tiffany goes to Dante's house because, you know, she still selling her weed to him or whatnot. And to her surprise, it's another dude there by the name of Cairo that he's smoking, that Dante is smoking his weed. And Cairo grows his own marijuana. And Tiffany, you know, she's getting somewhat territorial because, you know, Dante, you my client. You know what I'm saying? And so after she smokes his Cairo's weed, she's like, oh, this is good. Like this. She was like, hell, I would cheat on me too. And so Dante was basically saying, I smoke his weed exclusively. I only deal with you so that I can see your pretty face every now and then. And so Tiffany gets the idea. And one thing I did like about the character of Cairo is that he was basically like, this is who I am. It is what it is. I'm not trying to get rich off selling weed. I'm trying to show my people how to smoke organic weed for them to know what they're smoking and how to show other people how to grow this and be their own bosses. Like, I don't need you to sell my stuff. I could teach you how to grow your own, how to, become business minded in this genre. Because the moment that the government, and we know there are certain states that it's free, not free, it's legal. And once everything get on the up and up, it's going to be legal everywhere. Once the government decides, get to the place of understanding how they can really make money off this thing, it's going to be a wrap. So he was like, this is the best way to go. Have your own farms, have your own gardens, and have your own supply. And so Tiffany goes and talks to Rob about it. And Rob was like, this is the best weed I ever smoked. And so once Rob finds out that Tiffany got this information from Cairo through Dante, he was like, oh, yeah, I'll go meet with you. We going to go together. I get it. As much as Tiffany was like, I'm not messing with him like that no more. Rob was like, you bet not. I said, yeah, Rob, I'm going to need you to go, bro. Even if she didn't mess with Dante before, the fact that she's meeting up with this dude, you be there as well. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead. But Cairo seems to be a stand-up guy, and I am interested in seeing how they're going to maneuver this, especially with Rob cutting a deal with Douda, a recent deal with Douda. So that's going to be an interesting move to see how him and Tiffany maneuver through this. Tiffany is definitely more of the aggressor when it comes to this, what we need to do, this how we going to do it. I know you got the money, you need to do this, so on and so forth. So it's going to be an interesting dynamic to see what happens with this. So Papa, Bakari, and I call him Pastor Stanley, they're all at home, with Papa's mom, and Papa is very vocal about his father's mishandling of certain things. And I can only imagine growing up in a household where you have a pastor as a father. And I've been close enough to the situation to understand that sometimes that can be a very isolated way to grow up, because your friends don't understand you. You got to be at church. You're expected to be this certain person because of your father's calling or your father's occupation, and understanding that the call that your father answered has absolutely nothing to do with you. And so also it could also put a damper on friendships, because a lot of kids who are PKs, they are very judgmental. And yes, there are times that Papa definitely reflects that judgmental mindset. But I do like the fact that he calls his dad out on what he doesn't understand or what he feels should be the way that he's supposed to go. And one thing I can say, I do respect Pastor Stanley's approach and taking accountability for the things that he has done, and also not only just speaking it, but understanding that you have two young men in your household who you have to be an example for. And so when things were getting heated, Bakari says, I'm gonna excuse myself. And Pastor Stanley says, no, you're a part of this family as well. You stay right there. And the look on Bakari's face, for me, I took it as like he was almost in awe that he was considered a part of the family and just not Papa's friend who's staying with them for a while. It was like, no, you're a part of this family, because I feel like Bakari has never experienced that. And that's why I say I have like this tug of war with Bakari, because Bakari also reminds me of some of the guys that I grew up with, who the trajectory of their life said you're going to end up in prison or you're going to end up deceased. And sadly, yes, some of them ended up in prison. Some of them ended up deceased. But a lot of them, thank God, became great men, great fathers, great husbands, great providers. So it's like I have this tug of war with him, because I do believe that he genuinely cares for Lene, and I do believe that he genuinely wants to be a good guy. It's just that these influences with Douda, the clothing, the money, it makes you feel good. You know what I'm saying? It makes you feel good to be able to have money in your pocket, to be able to get your girl what she want, so on and so forth. But the elongated plan is not elongated. You know what I'm saying? People like Douda, because he have minions who gonna do what they need to do to be up under him, and he'll take somebody out without thinking about it. And I don't think Douda would have any problem with taking out a child, you know what I'm saying, or a young adult. I don't feel like he does. But I just want Bakari to stay away from him. And so staying on that realm, Douda makes a visit to Pastor Stanley's church. And basically, you know, he gives him a bag of money. And I was like, okay, Pastor, what you going to do? Because you spoke all that stuff, the Bible and all of that at home. What you going to do now that no one's watching? Well, except God. What you going to do? And I was so happy that he didn't take the money. He didn't take the money from Douda. And Douda was like, that's how you want it? Okay, then. So Bakari didn't enter the church. He stayed outside by the car. And when Douda came outside, he was like, you know, why you ain't come in? And Bakari's thing was like, you know, I live with him, Douda. And he was like, yeah, but you work for me. I said, Lord, now this baby going to be in a situation where he gonna have to make a choice. He going to have to make a choice. I don't know how far down the road it's going to be, but Bakari is going to have to make a choice between working for Douda and accepting this new family that he's in. And that choice can definitely end in death. So we going to see what happens with that. So let me deal with this first. So Papa, I forgot old girl name, the one he worked with, the 19-year-old. So they connect. It's cold as hell outside. He had to catch the bus to go home. And she was like, you know, I'll give you a ride. So they connect over the fact that both of them are preacher kids. And Papa was like, you know, his dad don't really, you know, mess with her dad like that because he has a different approach to the gospel and how he feel that we should live on earth in comparison to Papa's dad. And so they connect on that, and, you know, they really do like each other. But when she drops Papa off, after Papa gets out, there's a certain look that she gives that lets me know something is not all the way right. I'm not saying something is necessarily wrong with her, but maybe the situation between her and her dad is not the best. And maybe she wanted to confide in Papa, but doesn't trust him enough yet. But something in the water ain't clean. Everything ain't right when it comes to this 19-year-old. I forget the girl name. I'm just calling her 19-year-old for right now. But I'm so interested in finding out exactly what's going on with that situation. So we get to the final scene with Rob going to his mother, Alicia, to ask for some money. And coming down the stairs, we get the great Lynn Whitfield, who is portraying Alicia, Rob's mother. I love me some Alicia Whitfield, some Lynn Whitfield. She is an amazing actress, been doing it for years in such a classy, devious way. Oh, she does the damn thing. She's a truly remarkable addition to this cast. So Rob asked his mom, I think he was like for $50,000. And she was like, you know, okay, I give you the money. And he was like, wait, you gonna give me the money? Then as she begins to speak, she brings up her brother Q, who we know Douda canceled Christmas on. And so she wants to know who did this to her brother, because her brother was more like a father to her. Her brother was the reason why Rob was afforded a certain lifestyle, the reason why she was able to raise him in this beautiful house that she has. And she wants to know what happened to her brother. So we go from 50 racks to 100 racks. And she was like, if I give you this money, you got to do more than just find out who did this to my brother. You got to get your hands dirty, son. I said, oh, snap. So we about to see the turn of Rob. Because at the end of the day, that was his uncle. I wasn't even aware that his uncle was his mom's brother. Like, I didn't know that's how close they were. But I was like, wow, okay, man. And if it was revealed, I don't remember that. But I'm like, wow, this is going to be an interesting situation when it comes to Rob, Tiffany, Douda, and all of that stuff like that. Because Rob knows that Douda killed people for sport. But to find out that he's the one who took your uncle's life, and now that your mom is about to give you 100, Rob somebody gonna take him out. 100 racks, please. So I'm like, This was a much calmer episode, but it was so good because you could see how much they're setting up the storylines within this one episode here. I love The Chi. The Chi is such a great show. I know some people had some issues with it. They felt it got too soft, but I'm like, everything can't be kill, kill, bang, bang, death, death. Okay. I enjoy it. I really do like it. It's one of the few black shows that we've been able to see growth in the characters, and I truly appreciate that with Lena Waithe and Hillman Grant. And I'm gonna always give them a shout out because a lot of the black content that we get from other well-known black writers, it's despicable. But with The Chi, they've done such a great job at allowing life to happen with these characters, and it doesn't feel unbelievable, and it doesn't feel inconsistent. It goes along with the trajectory of life. So I want to thank you guys for listening. If I missed anything, because it's easy to, because there's so much stuff in the damn Chi. But if I missed it, just put it in the comments. I appreciate you guys for listening. Until next time, I will holler at y'all later, and y'all be safe out there.